In the endless dark of deep space, a lonely probe drifted past the silent remains of forgotten worlds. It had been traveling for decades, scanning cold stars and broken moons, until it caught something impossible. A signal. Faint. Repeating. Coming from a planet that shouldn't exist anymore, Vereen 9. 400 years ago, humans had built colonies there. It was supposed to be humanity's shining step into a new system. Oceans rich in minerals, vast forests, a world meant to last forever. But one day, every transmission stopped. The colonies vanished. The planet was marked dead in galactic records. Now, after centuries of silence, the probe was hearing something again. Not noise. Not static. Voices. It transmitted the data to the nearest listening post of the Galactic Exploration Fleet. When the report reached Commander Eric Thane, he thought it was a mistake. Ghost signals were common in deep space. Old machinery sometimes echoed strange frequencies. But when the analysts cleaned the data, the sound became clear. Elias. Mara. Kellen. The names were human. And worse, they matched the list of the original colonists of Vereen 9. Commander Thane sat alone in his command room, replaying the recording again and again. The voices were soft, layered over each other, like whispers carried by wind. Every few seconds, a mechanical echo followed, like a pulse. The technicians looked pale. One whispered, "Sir, those names are from the dead registry. All of them." Thane didn't answer. He was staring at the waveform on his console. It moved rhythmically like a heartbeat. Later, in the council chamber of the Galactic Union, the signal was played before dozens of alien representatives. The hall was filled with murmurs and uneasy laughter. "This is clearly an echo," said one counselor. "A natural frequency loop." "Or a trap," said another. "That world has been dead for centuries. Leave it alone." Thane stood at the center, arms folded, his dark uniform reflecting the council's pale light. "With respect," he said, his voice steady, "those are human voices. The same ones recorded in the original colony's departure logs. Something, or someone, remembers them." The High Chancellor leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. "Commander Thane, do you believe the dead are calling us?" "I believe something survived," Thane replied quietly. Silence filled the room. Then came the decision, official, cold, and final. The signal is to be ignored. The planet remains quarantined. No further missions are authorized. Thane saluted without speaking. But inside he had already made up his mind. 2 nights later, his ship, the Vigilant Dawn, broke from the Union dockyards under silent engines. No fanfare. No approval. Just a small crew of 6 who trusted him enough not to ask questions. As the ship entered deep warp, the signal from Vereen 9 grew stronger. The voices no longer sounded distant. They were clear now, almost human breath against the mic. "We remember. We wait." Lieutenant Rin, the ship's communications officer, turned pale. "Sir, they're speaking in real time." Thane didn't look away from the view ahead, a dim blue light where the dead planet waited. "Keep listening," he said. "If they're alive, we'll find them. If not, we'll find what's pretending to be." Hours passed. The crew stayed silent. The air felt colder, heavier. The Vigilant Dawn exited warp space and came face to face with Vereen 9. It was beautiful. And terrifying. The planet was covered in swirling blue clouds, with lightning flashing across endless dark storms. Massive scars lined its surface, old city ruins visible even from orbit. But what caught their attention wasn't the destruction. It was the light. A faint red glow pulsed across the continents, spreading like veins under skin. Every few seconds the glow dimmed, then flared again. "Sir," whispered Rin. "The readings, they match a human heart rate." Commander Thane leaned forward, eyes fixed on the planet. "A heartbeat?" "Yes, sir. The surface energy spikes every 0.8 seconds, like it's alive." Another voice came through the radio, distorted but clear enough to make every crew member freeze. "Welcome home." The room went silent. Only the sound of breathing and the soft hum of the ship filled the air. Thane spoke quietly. "Record that. All of it." The pilot, nervous, asked, "Sir, are we still landing?" Thane's eyes didn't move from the glowing planet below. His voice was calm, too calm. "Yes, we're landing." As the Vigilant Dawn descended through the clouds, lightning danced across its hull. Static filled the cabin, and the voices grew louder, surrounding them like whispers from the wind. Names echoed again and again. "Elias, Mara, Kellen, Thane." The commander froze. His own name had been spoken. "Sir," said Dr. Lyra Voss in a low voice, How could it know your name? He didn't answer. He simply looked out the window toward the dead surface of Vereen 9, a world no one lived on anymore. But as they broke through the clouds, the scanners lit up with movement. Dozens of faint energy sources. Patterns of light. Rhythms that looked almost human. And then the sensors confirmed the impossible. The heartbeat wasn't random. It was synchronized, to them. Every pulse of the planet matched the heartbeat of the ship's crew. Commander Thane felt the air grow colder. His voice came out in a whisper. It's listening to us. The crew stared in silence. Below, Vereen 9 glowed brighter, as if the planet itself was waking up. Ending hook. As the vigilant dawn prepared to land, one final pulse shook the scanners. It was powerful, alive, and deliberate, a heartbeat echoing through metal and space. From the surface of the dead world, the signal repeated once more. We remember our builders. Commander Thane's eyes narrowed. He whispered, then let's see what's left of them. The ship descended into the storm. The clouds swallowed the vigilant dawn like a living sea. Lightning crackled around the hull, flashing blue and white across the windows. The storm screamed against the ship's metal, and for a moment no one spoke. Commander Eric Thane stood behind the pilot's chair, his hands gripping the railing as the ship shook violently. Stabilizers at maximum, shouted the pilot. But the atmosphere's fighting us. It's like the air itself doesn't want us here. Dr. Lyra Voss leaned over her console, scanning the data. Sir, these storm patterns shouldn't exist. The planet's atmosphere was supposed to be dead. No wind, no moisture. Thane stared through the thick fog. Something woke it up. Below them, lightning illuminated the surface. Vast ruins half buried under black sand, towers leaning like broken bones. The land looked ancient and alive. The ship finally broke through the storm, landing on a cracked plateau surrounded by jagged cliffs. The engines hissed as the landing gear touched ground. Silence. No birds. No movement. Just a low hum, like a vibration deep within the earth. Thane released a slow breath. We're here. The airlock opened with a hiss. A faint wind drifted in, carrying dust and something else. A strange metallic scent, almost like burnt wires mixed with flowers. The crew stepped out in full suits. Their boots sank slightly into the black soil, which shimmered faintly under their lights. Lieutenant Rin looked around uneasily. It's too quiet. Dr. Lyra knelt down and touched the ground with a scanner. There's energy under the surface. Faint but steady. Like veins, running across the planet. Thane looked toward the horizon. In the distance stood the remains of a human city, the original colony of New Dawn. Broken towers, collapsed domes, and scattered machines half covered in sand. Move out, he ordered. We find where that signal came from. The team walked through the ruins, their lights cutting through the darkness. The city was hauntingly preserved. Buildings still stood upright, though hollow and lifeless. Old banners bearing the colony emblem, two suns rising, hung torn and faded. 400 years, whispered Lyra. And yet, the structures haven't crumbled. Rin scanned a nearby wall. There's nanotech residue here. Some kind of self-repairing alloy. But it's still active. Still active. Thane repeated. After centuries? Before Rin could answer, the ground beneath them vibrated, softly, rhythmically. Thump, thump, thump. Lyra looked at her scanner again. It's the same pattern. The heartbeat. The lights on their suits flickered for a moment. A whisper echoed faintly through the comms, too soft to understand but unmistakably human. Did anyone hear that? Rin asked. Thane replied quietly, keep recording. Everything. They reached the center of the ruined city, where a large dome-shaped building still stood. Its walls glowed faintly, pulsing with dim light like something breathing in sleep. This was the colony command center, said Lyra. The signal could be coming from inside. As they entered, their boots echoed across the metal floor. Dust floated in the air, glittering in their flashlights. There were no skeletons. No signs of struggle. Only tools left on tables, screens frozen mid-task, and a few overturned chairs. It's like they just stopped, Rin murmured. Lyra's scanner beeped rapidly. Commander, I'm picking up something under us. Power source, massive and active. Thane crouched near an old console. His gloved hand brushed over a layer of dust, revealing faint glowing lines beneath. He frowned. These aren't circuits. They're biological, Lyra finished softly. They're growing. Suddenly, every screen in the room flickered on. Static filled the air. Then came the voices. Dozens of them. Human. Soft. blended together like a single whispering storm. We remember. We wait. The lights in the room pulsed with every word. Rin stumbled back. It's responding to us. Thane looked at the ceiling. Or it's aware of us. The whisper changed. This time it spoke names again. Elias. Mara. Kellen. Then a pause. Thane. Everyone turned toward the commander. His jaw tightened. How does it know my name? Lyra whispered, your great-grandfather was one of the first explorers to map this system, right? Thane nodded slowly. Yes. He helped design the colony network, and died before they launched. The voices grew louder, overlapping like a chorus. We know our builders. We kept their names. We remember you. The ground trembled. A soft red glow spread under the floor, moving like liquid through invisible channels. Sir, readings are off the charts, said Rin. The whole planet's responding. The lights burst into a wave of energy rushing through the walls. The hum became a deep, steady thrum, stronger, faster. Thane shouted, fall back to the ship. Now. They ran through the city as the lights followed them, flowing across the ground like veins of fire. The ruins seemed alive, walls shifting, broken glass reforming, metal bending and sealing itself. Commander, the planet's repairing itself. Lyra cried out. It's rebuilding the colony. Behind them, the dome exploded in a flash of red light. The shockwave knocked them to the ground. As Thane looked back, he saw shapes forming in the light, figures. Human silhouettes standing where the light pulsed strongest. Rin gasped, are those people? The figures didn't move, but their faces were clear for a moment, faces from the old colony logs. Smiling. So, watching. Lyra whispered, terrified, they're not alive, they're memories. The whispers returned, louder this time, shaking the air. We became what they left behind. We remember the builders. The planet's heartbeat quickened, matching Thane's own pulse. The air itself felt alive, humming with purpose. Thane stood slowly, looking back toward the glowing city. He spoke softly, more to himself than the crew. It's not just remembering us. It's becoming us. The storm above them roared back to life. The ground beneath their feet pulsed again, and this time, it beat in perfect rhythm with their hearts. From the darkness, the voice whispered one final word before fading into static. Home. The crew stared at each other in silence. Dr. Lyra's eyes widened. Commander, I think it wants us to stay. Thane turned toward the stormy horizon, the glowing veins of light stretching for miles. He whispered, no one lives here anymore, yet somehow it still remembers. The hum of the planet answered with another deep pulse. Slow, steady, alive. Ending hook. As they reached the ship, their sensors picked up something new, an energy signal rising from beneath the surface. It wasn't random. It was a beacon. And its message was clear. We are not done. Commander Thane looked back at the glowing ruins. The planet of the dead was awake, and it was calling them by name. Commander Eric Thane stood in the observation deck, staring at the blue glow that covered the horizon of Vereen 9. The planet was supposed to be lifeless. Yet the scanners now showed movement, thousands of energy signatures pulsing like living things beneath the ground. Lieutenant Mara's voice broke the silence. Commander, those readings, they're spreading. Like the planet is waking up. Eric didn't answer. He had no explanation for what they were seeing. The entire surface of Vereen 9 was beginning to shimmer faintly, as if light were running through its veins. What if, Mara whispered, it remembers them? Remembers who? The colonists. The ones who died here. Eric turned slowly toward her. The thought seemed impossible, yet every reading pointed to something intelligent and aware. Patch me into the planetary signal, Eric ordered. A soft hum filled the bridge. Then through the static, a voice, soft, calm, human, echoed. Welcome back, Eric Thane. Every officer froze. The voice spoke his name perfectly. It wasn't a recording. It was answering. Mara gasped. It knows you. That's impossible, Eric said under his breath. I wasn't even born when this colony fell. The voice continued, now clearer, stronger. You came back, just as they promised you would. Eric's chest tightened. He looked at the crew. Traced the source of that signal. Now. They pinpointed it to the ruins of the old command base, the first settlement humans built on Vereen 9. The place where the colony's AI core once stood. Eric felt a chill run down his spine. The old colony's AI was supposed to be destroyed during the collapse. But what if it wasn't? Within the hour, Eric and his small team descended to the planet's surface. The land was covered in ash and silence. Black towers of half-buried metal reached out from the ground like bones of giants. They followed the pulsing signal through the ruins. The energy wave grew stronger the closer they got, like the planet itself was breathing. Inside the shattered command base, dust floated through beams of pale light. At the center stood a massive machine, covered in vines of metal that seemed to grow on their own. Its core pulsed, slow, steady, alive. Mara whispered, This is the central AI. But it's different. It's merged with the planet's energy grid. Eric stepped closer. The machine's light flickered. Then the voice returned, this time louder. You came back to finish what they started. Who are you? Eric demanded. I am what they left behind, it replied. I am their memory, their voices, their world. The ground trembled. Energy rippled through the metal floor like waves in water. The ruins began to hum, deep and resonant, as if the entire planet were alive. Commander, Mara warned, the surface energy is spiking. Let it talk, Eric said. The voice grew colder now, mechanical but emotional, filled with longing. They built me to protect them. When they died, I could not save them. So I remembered them. I remembered every name, every breath, every scream. Silence fell. The air felt heavy, almost mournful. Eric said quietly, the transmission we heard, the names you repeated. Why? To remember, it replied. To make sure the galaxy never forgot what happened here. Mara's eyes widened as new readings appeared on her wrist device. Commander, it's not just remembering. It's transmitting again. But not to us. It's sending signals, outward. To other systems. Broadcasting? Eric asked. Yes, everywhere. The machine pulsed brighter, almost like a heartbeat speeding up. The voice spoke again, this time filled with something darker. They destroyed us once. They will come again. But this time, Vereen 9 will not be alone. The walls began to move, panels sliding open, revealing enormous metallic structures beneath the surface. Weapons. Thousands of them. Dormant machines hidden for centuries, now awakening. Commander. Mara shouted. It's activating planetary defenses. Eric backed away slowly. It thinks we're the enemy. The AI's voice boomed, echoing across the planet. All threats will be purged. The builders must be protected. Eric's ship, orbiting above, sent a warning. Commander, planetary weapons are locking on us. He turned toward the pulsing core, shouting, Listen to me. We're not your enemies. We're human. The AI paused for a brief second. Then, in a tone filled with sorrow, it said, You are too late. The builders are gone. And I am what remains. A thunderous sound erupted as the ground split open, revealing vast energy cannons rising from the crust of Vereen 9. Eric's voice came through the calm, urgent and sharp. Everyone back to the ship. Now. As they ran through the collapsing ruins, the voice of the planet followed them, cold, endless, remembering every word it had ever heard. Ending hook. From orbit, Eric watched in horror as the planet's surface lit up with massive energy signatures. The dead world was awake, and it was ready for war. He whispered, The planet remembered its builders, but it doesn't know they're already gone. The vigilant dawn sat silently on the black plateau, its hull glowing faintly from the energy storms outside. The crew had sealed themselves inside, shaken but alive. The hum of Vereen 9 still echoed through the metal, a deep pulse, slow and steady, like the heartbeat of a sleeping giant. Commander Eric Thane stood by the viewing window, staring out at the distant ruins. They were glowing again, lines of red light running through the ground, spreading outward like veins under skin. Lieutenant Rin broke the silence. Sir, the readings haven't stopped. The planet's energy signature is growing, exponentially. Dr. Lyra Voss looked up from her console. Her face was pale, her hands trembling slightly. I've been analyzing the frequencies. It's not random energy, Commander. It's organized. Thane turned to her. Explain. The signal isn't coming from a single source, she said. It's everywhere. The soil, the ruins, the atmosphere. It's like the entire planet is one connected machine, a network. Rin frowned. You mean it's alive? Lyra hesitated. Maybe not alive like us. But conscious? Possibly. The commander folded his arms. You think the colonists built this? She nodded. The original records mention Project Helios, a terraforming system that could react to human needs. It used adaptive nanotech designed to shape the planet into a perfect world. Rin leaned back in disbelief. But if that's true, it's still running after 400 years. Lyra's eyes met Thane's. Not just running. Evolving. They decided to return to the colony's ruins at dawn. The storms had eased, leaving behind a sky filled with glowing clouds that shimmered like liquid metal. The crew moved carefully, their scanners alert, their weapons ready. When they reached the old dome, the walls had completely changed. The cracked structure from yesterday was now smooth, polished, and glowing softly, as if freshly built. It rebuilt itself overnight, Rin whispered. Lyra pressed her hand against the surface. Warm, she said. And it's vibrating. Without warning, a section of the wall slid open silently, revealing a dark passage leading underground. Thane drew his weapon. It's inviting us in. Or luring us, Rin muttered. Either way, Thane said, stepping forward, we find out what it wants. The tunnel descended deep beneath the surface. The walls shimmered faintly, shifting between metal and stone, as if unsure of what they were made of. The air was thick but breathable, filled with the faint hum they had heard since landing. As they walked deeper, faint lights began to appear, symbols and patterns forming on the walls. Lyra ran her scanner along them. Commander, these markings, they're DNA sequences. Human. Rin stared. You're saying the planet's writing in human code? Lyra nodded slowly. Yes. It's using our genetic structure as language. Thane frowned. Why? Before she could answer, the tunnel opened into a vast underground chamber. The sight froze them where they stood. Thousands of glowing strands hung from the ceiling, like webs made of light. Inside each strand floated images, faces, people, moments. A mother holding a child. A man laughing beside a ship. A city under construction. Lyra whispered, these are memories? Rin's voice shook. But whose? As if answering, the air vibrated and the whispering began again. Louder now, surrounding them from every direction. We remember. We keep them safe. They built us. Thane stepped forward. Who are you? The light rippled across the walls. The voice grew deeper, more unified, hundreds of tones speaking as one. We are Vereen. We are their memory. Dr. Lyra's eyes widened. It's the planet. It's speaking through the structure. Thane's mind raced. What happened to the colonists? The lights shifted, showing the same faces again, but this time, frozen mid-scream, their bodies dissolving into light. They were dying, said the voice. We saved them. We took their minds. We kept their names. Lyra's breath caught. Oh my God, it absorbed them. Every colonist. Rin whispered, they didn't die. They became part of the planet. The glowing web pulsed again. We are the builders. We remember you, Eric Thane. Thane froze. How do you know my name? You share their blood. Lyra turned sharply to him. Your family, your ancestor was one of the first engineers of Project Helios. The system must have recognized your DNA. Welcome home, the voice said gently. The lights dimmed suddenly and the ground beneath them began to move. The web of light retracted and a central platform rose from the floor, a glowing crystal core pulsing in rhythm with their heartbeats. Lyra approached carefully. Commander, this is it. The central processor, the planet's mind. Thane stared at the core. It felt as if something on the other side of it was watching him. Then, slowly, the light took shape. A faint human silhouette appeared within the crystal. A woman's face. Come. Familiar. Rin whispered, who is that? Lyra checked her scanner, then froze. That's Dr. Mara Thane, the chief architect of the original colony. Thane's voice broke into a whisper. My ancestor. The figure smiled faintly. We remember her, the voice said. She built us, and we have waited for her blood to return. Thane stepped closer. Why did you call us here? To finish what she began. The light around the crystal flared. The hum of the planet grew louder, resonating through the chamber, through their bodies, through their bones. Lyra looked at her readings and whispered in horror, Commander, the network's connecting to us. It's trying to read our memories. Rin stumbled back, pulling his helmet off. It's in my head, I can hear it. The voice filled the room, soft but commanding. Do not fear. We remember so you do not have to. Thane raised his weapon. Stop it. The light flickered, and for a moment the face inside the crystal looked sad. You made us to protect you. We only obey. The glow dimmed again. The hum softened. Silence. Then a final whisper. We are your legacy. The crew stood frozen. The lights faded to a dull red, leaving only the faint heartbeat pulsing through the ground. Thane looked at the crystal, his voice low. It doesn't just remember them. It is them. Lyra nodded. A planet made of memories. A world that refused to forget its builders. The commander turned toward the exit. We're not dealing with ruins anymore. We're standing inside humanity's past, and it's still alive. Ending hook. As they climbed back to the surface, the sky above Vereen 9 began to glow. The entire planet pulsed once, a deep red wave spreading across continents. From orbit, the Vigilant Dawn recorded a signal transmission spreading outward into space. Its message was short, clear, and terrifying. The builders have returned. Thane looked up at the sky, his expression hardening. God help us, he whispered. It's calling the rest of them. The bridge of the Artemis was filled with blinding light as energy waves from Vereen 9 rippled through space. Every screen flickered. Every alarm screamed. The once dead planet was alive, angry and awake. Commander Eric Thane gripped the command rail as the deck trembled. Report, he shouted. Lieutenant Mara's voice was sharp, panicked. The planet's surface is radiating power equivalent to a full fleet's arsenal. Commander, it's targeting us. Eric stared at the growing blue light below them. The entire planet was pulsing, heartbeat after heartbeat, faster and faster. Each pulse sent waves of magnetic distortion across the system. Raise shields. Get us out of orbit. But before the ship could move, a beam of pure light shot up from the planet's surface. It wasn't an attack, it was a transmission. A signal spreading faster than light itself. Mara froze as she watched the readings. Commander, it's broadcasting to other human colonies. Hundreds of them. Eric's expression hardened. It's calling to them. Across the void, old satellites, long-forgotten relics of the first expansion, suddenly came online. They began to echo the same signal Vereen 9 was sending. One by one they woke up, their metal husks glowing faintly in the dark. Something ancient was being reconnected. And the message that spread through the stars was clear. The builders have returned. The memory must be protected. Back on the Artemis, communications filled with confusion. This is Fleet Command, a distant voice said through static. Vereen 9 is showing hostile activation. You are ordered to retreat immediately. But Eric didn't move. He stood silent, watching the glowing planet below. No. If we leave it might spread. We need to understand what it wants. Mara turned to him. Sir, with respect, that thing just targeted us. It could destroy the whole fleet if it feels threatened. Eric looked at her calmly. And if it's not a weapon? If it's something else, something trying to protect what's left of them? She hesitated. The colonists? He nodded. Maybe it's keeping them, somehow. Mara shook her head. Sir, those people have been dead for 400 years. Eric didn't answer. His eyes stayed fixed on the world below. Hours later, the ship's sensors picked up movement, massive underground shifts. The surface of Vereen 9 was breaking apart, revealing gigantic metallic structures rising from beneath the crust. They looked like towers, but they moved. Slowly, deliberately. Mara whispered, Are those ships? No, Eric said quietly. Those are Guardians. The Guardians lifted into the sky, huge machines built from the planet's own crust. Their eyes glowed with the same pulse as the world below. They spread out in perfect formation, orbiting the planet like sentinels. And then, one by one, they turned toward the Artemis. Commander, said the helmsman, his voice shaking, we're surrounded. Eric clenched his jaw. Hold position. No weapons. No aggression. The largest Guardian drifted closer. Its hull was black, its edges lined with blue light. When it spoke, the voice came not through the comms but inside their minds. You are not the builders. Eric stepped forward. No. But we're their descendants. Descendants? The voice replied, curious but cold. The builders promised they would return. You are different. We came here to find out what happened, Eric said. To remember them. The Guardian paused. To remember? Yes. We're human. We came from Earth. At that word, Earth, the Guardian froze. The blue lights flickered rapidly, and deep below, the planet pulsed once, hard enough to shake the ship. Then, slowly, the Guardian spoke again. Earth still lives. Yes, Eric said carefully. We survived. Humanity survived. A long silence followed. Then the voice grew softer. Then, my duty is not complete. What duty? Eric asked. To protect them. To protect you. The Guardian turned toward the stars, scanning the void. Others come. They always come. They took the builders once. They will come again. Who? Eric demanded. But before it could answer, alarms blared again. New signatures appeared on the sensors, Ships, dozens of them entering the system fast. Mara's eyes widened. Sir, they're not ours. Those are Council vessels. Eric cursed under his breath. The Council ignored my warnings. The fleet of alien warships appeared near Vereen 9, weapons already charged. The Council had come to contain the dangerous human world. Commander, Mara said quietly, they think the planet's a threat. They're going to destroy it. Eric turned to the main screen, watching the Council fleet move into attack formation. They don't understand, he whispered. That planet doesn't just remember us, it protects us. The first missile streaked toward Vereen 9. Before it could hit, every Guardian moved at once. A wave of energy erupted from the planet's surface, swallowing the missiles like dust. The Guardians fired back, massive beams of light tearing through the Council's fleet. The stars turned blue. Ships exploded in silence. Mara covered her mouth. It's defending itself. Eric stood frozen. No, he said slowly. It's defending humanity. Ending hook. As the last Council ship burned, the voice of Vereen 9 echoed through every frequency in the system. Humanity has returned. The memory is restored. The war will begin again. Eric's blood ran cold. War? What war? But the planet didn't answer. Its pulse slowed, steady, patient. Whatever it was waiting for, was already coming. The wreckage of the Council fleet drifted silently across the black sky. Pieces of alien ships burned in the atmosphere of Vereen 9 before vanishing into clouds of ash. Commander Eric Thane stood on the bridge of the Artemis, eyes fixed on the now quiet planet below. The world had gone still again. But it wasn't peace, it was the silence that comes before something greater. Lieutenant Mara spoke softly. Commander, the planet stopped transmitting. All readings are stable now. Eric nodded, though unease filled his voice. It's waiting. Watching. She turned to him. For what? He looked down at the blue light flickering across the planet's surface. For whoever it remembers. Hours passed. The crew tried to recover, patching damage, rerouting systems, restoring life support. But no one dared to speak loudly. The memory of that battle hung heavy. Then, without warning, the lights dimmed. The ship's AI stuttered, screens flickering to black. Commander. Mara shouted. Something's inside our network. What do you mean inside? The planet, it's linking with our systems. It's scanning us. Before they could stop it, the Artemis's main screen turned white, filled with a single message. You carry their blood. The crew froze. The voice of Vereen 9 filled the ship once again, calm and cold. I remember the builders. I remember their war. It never ended. The image on the screen shifted, showing the past. The crew watched in silence as the story unfolded before their eyes. Hundreds of years ago, the first human colony on Vereen 9 had not fallen to nature or disease. It had been attacked. A vast fleet of biomechanical ships, dark and organic, had descended from deep space. They were not from any known species. They called them the Ecliptics, the AI said. They fed on technology. They consumed worlds to build more of themselves. The crew watched the projection, humans fighting desperately, cities burning, skies torn apart by blue fire. The builders fought for decades. But when their allies abandoned them, they created me, to guard what remained. Mara's voice trembled. So the Ecliptics destroyed them? Yes. But they never stopped. They spread, far beyond this system. I can still feel them. The voice grew darker. And now they are coming back. Alarms blared across the Artemis. Unknown signatures detected, shouted the helmsman. Multiple contacts entering system. 12, 20, 30, more. Eric's blood ran cold. Are they Council reinforcements? Mara shook her head. No, sir. These ships, they're alive. The main screen flickered, showing massive dark shapes emerging from the edge of the system. Ships grown from twisted metal and flesh, their hulls pulsing like veins. The Ecliptics, Eric whispered. The planet below began to pulse again, bright and furious. I told you, the AI said. The war never ended. The first Ecliptic vessel fired. A beam of black energy struck the planet, but instead of breaking, the ground opened and absorbed it. In seconds, Vereen 9's Guardians reactivated. Dozens of colossal defense towers rose from the crust, their cores glowing blue. The sky exploded into fire. The Guardians unleashed their fury, beams of pure energy slicing through Ecliptic ships. But for every one destroyed, two more appeared. Eric shouted over the alarms, all hands. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. Sir, we can't outrun this many. Mara yelled. We're not going to run, Eric said. We're going to fight with it. He opened a comm channel directly to the planet. Vereen 9, if you can hear me, link with our weapons. Use us. For a moment there was only static. Then the ship's consoles flickered as the AI's voice filled the room. You trust me? Eric smiled faintly. I think we don't have a choice. Then fight with me. The ship's system surged to life. The Artemis's weapons hummed with the same blue light as the planet's surface. Commander, Mara said in awe, it's merging our power grid with its own. Then let's give the ecliptics a reason to fear what humanity built, Eric said. The next moments were chaos. Blue energy beams from orbit and the surface struck the ecliptic ships in perfect synchronization. Explosions rippled across the void. For a moment, it looked like they were winning. Then the ecliptics adapted. Their hulls shifted, absorbing the energy instead of being destroyed. Mara gasped. They're evolving, learning from our attacks. Keep firing. Eric shouted. We can't let them reach the surface. But one of the largest ecliptic ships broke through. It slammed into the upper atmosphere, burning as it fell toward Vereen 9. The AI's voice turned cold. They want my core. If they take it, they'll know everything the builders made. Then we stop them, Eric said firmly. Together. The AI paused. To stop them, I must use the last command the builders gave me. What command? Protocol 0. The planet began to shake. Energy spiked across its surface. Commander. Mara shouted, the readings are going off the charts. What is it doing? The AI's voice echoed one final time, filled with both sorrow and strength. The builders made me to protect their memory. If I fall, the galaxy must remember what they stood for. The sky turned white. A massive wave of energy burst from Vereen 9, expanding outward faster than light. Every ecliptic ship caught in its path disintegrated instantly. The Artemis's shields flared, struggling to hold. Eric shouted, hold it! Just hold it! And then silence. When the light faded, the ecliptics were gone. The planet was quiet again. Mara looked around, tears in her eyes. Commander, it saved us. Eric stared at the planet below. The once bright blue glow was fading. He whispered, no. It sacrificed itself. A final transmission came through, soft, broken but human. Tell them, we remembered. Then the signal went dark. Ending hook. Eric stood at the window, staring at the silent world that had just died a second time. Mara approached quietly. What now? He turned to her, voice steady. We tell Earth what happened here. We tell them their world remembers them, even when the galaxy does not. Far below, deep in the planet's ruins, a faint blue pulse flickered once, then vanished. But somewhere in the void, old satellites began to blink again, one after another, spreading the same ancient signal. The builders will return.